Hola, estudiantes de Español 2. This is a lecture about prepositions and prepositional pronouns. This is just a quick review for week 5, but also it's related to week 4. And I strongly recommend you to do this just because we're going to talk about prepositions and pronouns, and it's going to get a little complicated. So I just want to make sure you know which ones are which. So that you know which one you have to use. Okay, so we have the subject pronouns here. We know these. We use these to conjugate our verbs. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Pronouns are basically words we use instead of actual names of people, and we use these because we don't want to sound too repetitive. So Juan, instead of Juan, I would say he or él. Maria, I would say she or ella, and you kind of get the idea here. Subject pronouns substitute the subject of the sentence, and the subject is the person that does the action. So we have Josh come mucha pizza. Who is the subject? Josh, right? He's doing the action. Instead of Josh, I would say él. Él come mucha pizza. Here's another example. Ingrid y Querenza hablan español. Who is speaking Spanish? Ingrid y Querenza. How would I use the subject pronoun to replace Ingrid y Querenza? I would probably say ellas. Okay. Sometimes pronouns act as subjects. Sometimes pronouns act as objects of prepositions. So in Spanish, we have to use a different set of pronouns, okay? And notice that mi, ti, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. So we have these here. And the only things that are actually different is mi y ti, the yo and the tú. Right? Everything else is the same. So we will be using these in a second. Okay. So object pronouns as prepositions. These are right here for you to review. And prepositions are just words that help connect things or add more details to sentences and statements. So they can describe a location, time, ownership, and sometimes they show us relationship between subjects and actions. Subjects and actions and, objects. So here are some examples of prepositions in English. And we sometimes need another set of prepositions, to replace the noun that comes immediately after the preposition. These are some very common Spanish prepositions that we use all the time. I believe you saw these in week 4 on episodio 10 of, de, with, con, for, para, for, por, to, at, a, from, about, de, in, on, or about, en. So here you would say hablar de, pensar en. I want you to look at these sentences in English, and I want you to grab a piece of paper and pen. I would say write this down and then leave some space under them and see if you can come up with the correct translation of them. First sentence, Kate cooks for her, and make sure you use these prepositions and these objects of prepositions. So Kate cooks for her. And then we have the next sentence. Stephanie speaks with us, and the teacher, and I'm just letting you know the teacher's female, so make sure you have the gender there, thinks about us. Go ahead, pause the video. You might want to use a dictionary, and that's fine. Go ahead and translate, and we'll check the answers in a moment. Okay, and I'm guessing you completed your translation. Let's check the answers and see how well you did. Okay. Kate cooks for her. Ella cocina para ella. Or Kate cocina para ella. Stephanie speaks with us. Stephanie habla con nosotros. The teacher, I mentioned she's a female teacher, thinks about us. La maestra piensa en nosotros. So you have your subjects, your verbs that are conjugated to the subject, and then you have these prepositional words and the object prepositions. Okay. We have special forms of the preposition con, and we're going to talk about this question. Does the pronoun after the preposition refer to the subject? Usually, no, but there are some times where this will be the case. So let's look at the no case. In Spanish, we have two special forms with con. We do not say con mi, we do not say con ti. We would say conmigo y contigo. With me, with you. Okay? So go ahead and look at these examples and make sure you use the correct version of con with the appropriate noun. Okay? So we have Duke speaks with me. I want to go with you. They live with them. I don't want to talk with usted. Now I'm giving you the specific usted there. Okay? And this would be for the cases where Duke is the subject and I am the pronoun after the preposition. This is not related to the subject, right? Two different people. Duke, me, I, you. So different people, different con with the appropriate preposition. The next thing we have here is if the pronoun does refer to the subject in the sentence, use consigo. And here are two examples of where you would use consigo. He takes the beer with himself or with him. So he and himself are the same person. And why don't you take the book with yourself? So you and yourself are the same person. This is a third version of con, and it's not on the book, but you might hear Spanish speakers use it. This would be a time where you use consigo. So if the pronoun does not refer to the subject of the sentence, use con plus the appropriate noun. So pause the video, translate the sentences, and we'll check your answers. Okay, so let's check your answers. All right, Duke speaks with me. Duke habla conmigo. I want to go with you. Quiero ir contigo. If you have yo quiero ir contigo, that's also okay. They live with them. Ellos viven con ellos. And last one, I don't want to talk with usted. No quiero hablar con usted. So it's very simple translation, and we're just pretty much practicing the con forms. And let's look at the next one. He takes the beer with himself, or he takes the beer with him. And we're talking about the person and the subject doing the action kind of to himself or for himself. Él lleva la cerveza consigo. Why don't you take the book with yourself or with you? ¿Por qué no llevas el libro consigo? So I hope this helps a little bit. And let's see what's next. Okay, so we have prepositions that are followed by subject pronouns. These are some additional prepositions. They are not in the book, but I do believe they are helpful. And I'd say if you learn 2 or 3 of these, it'll expand your vocab a little bit. So we have entre, between, excepto, except, incluso, including, menos, except, según, according to, salvo, except. So we have a few except versions. You can use whichever one you like. And I'm going to challenge you to use these new additional prepositions with the vocabulary you already know. So go ahead and translate these. Do your best. You might have to look up some of this vocab, but I think it's worth the practice because it really shows you where the parts of the sentence are in relation to each other. So between you and I, the food is salty. Everyone drinks water, including me. According to you, she's pretty. Everyone in my family is allergic except him and I. So pause the video, do your translation, and we'll check the answers shortly. All right, so here's a page that you can look at, and it just has a lot more prepositions. I feel like these are the more important ones, but you're welcome to take a look at those if you're interested in learning something else. Okay, so let's check the translations. Between you and I, the food is salty. Entre tú y yo, la comida está salada. Everyone drinks water, including me. Todos toman agua o beben agua. Beben is okay too. Incluso yo. According to you, she is pretty. Según tú, ella es bonita. Everyone in my family is allergic, except for him and I. Todos en mi familia son alérgicos, menos él y yo. Okay, so you should have pretty much this stuff. And if you are missing some words, just go back and take a look and see what's missing or what you're having issues with. This is just like a little bit more challenging, but I do believe that it can help you just kind of get a wider sense of the language. Okay, and this is it. This is the end of the preposition, object preposition lecture. And the following lectures will talk more about direct objects and direct object pronouns and indirect object pronouns.